All right. Happy Monday, everyone. Nick Marro here with DFS Jayhawk, as always, helping you break down tonight's NBA DFS main slate on both DraftKings and FanDuel. For those who don't know, not always producing. So if there are any technical difficulties, be sure to update us in the chat. We'll get to all your comments and questions. Please like the video, subscribe to the channel. Jayhawk, how's it going, man? Coming off the Super Bowl, we are all NBA for the next few weeks.
Yeah, man, that was a pretty entertaining Super Bowl. Not in the first half, but in the second half, it started to turn up. Obviously, I'm from Kansas, so I'm a pretty big Chiefs fan, so I was pretty happy with the outcome of that game. But great game. But yeah, we're back to NBA, man. Should be full go here with no NFL left. Time to lock in an NBA.
Yeah, they got some bigger contests. I saw they're doing the Micro Millions over on DK. I don't know why, but they gave me a bunch of free tickets to that. So I'm actually playing a little on DK tonight, which should be fun. But yeah, man, shout out to Chiefs. I signed my girl up to a bunch of sports books so we could use the deposits and put it all in the Chiefs. So that worked out. Made a few $100 for free. Very happy with that. But yeah, shout out the Chiefs and Pat Mahomes. But yeah, let's get into the slate here, man. And it's interesting. So I think both sites knocked the 10:30 game off, right? So we don't have to worry about that. But it is a pretty big slate. And I mean, for a slate this size, I'm a little bit surprised we don't have more value. So I'm sorting by DK value here. We get Trey Mann, who's probably going to start for the Hornets. Then Chris Dunn. I mean, Kyrie's up there, Miles Turner. And then you go over to FanDuel, and I mean, Kyrie, Oubre, Podol, Poole, etc. I mean, I'm going to run a refresh here because we did just get news that Tobias Harris is out. But yeah, for such a big slate, I feel like we're kind of lacking value today.
Yeah, man, right there with you. We were kind of talking earlier on pre-stream. Kind of looks like a mid-tier day build. We got a ton of great mid-tier spend-ups. Guys like DeMar DeRozan, Vucevic, tons of guys in the mid-tier. So not our typical like stars and scrubs type of slate tonight.
Yeah, and it's unfortunate because I do think there are some really quality payups if we could get there. But yeah, I mean, it certainly feels like we're going to go more balanced than anything else. So yeah, I'll pull up the injury report. I don't know that there's any major injury news that we're waiting on per se. I know there's a few questionables, but it's guys like Zion who are like questionable every single day. So I don't know. Is Lucas still questionable too? I thought he was probable.
Yeah, I
But
think he's in. Yeah, he should be in.
yeah, so let's see here. I'm looking at yesterday's. I just try to reboot the 5:30 injury report, but yeah, let's see what we got in chat here. Shout out Unicorn Love coming off the big win last week. Still pumped about that. Chris Davis, good evening to you. Jose Morales, our one and not only. I mean, we got a few regulars now, but Jose's an OG. He's been in here since the season started. But yeah, what players between 35 and 4K are priorities? And I mean, going off of what we've been saying, man, I don't know that there are any. So it's going to be difficult to find tonight. We'll definitely give you our favorite value as the show goes on, but I think we're both hoping we get some more news to kind of break and open things up. Because right now, I mean, sub 4K, even on DK, I don't know. The model likes Isaiah Jackson best, but I can't say I'm excited to trust him here.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. We just don't have any eye-popping value here. You mentioned Isaiah Jackson. Like, I think he's fine. But like no guys that we really want to lock and load as of right now. Obviously, news could break. We could get more value to open up. But
Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, Jalen Smith is out, which should secure minutes for someone like Jackson. But at the same time, I mean, we all know Rick Carlisle is one of the toughest coaches to kind of read in terms of rotation. Super inconsistent, especially with that front court. They got a ton of bodies there. The Hornets, I mean, no major injury news there. Leaky Black's been starting. It looks like he's going to be out. Nick Smith and Mark Williams still out. Obviously, Ball's out. But yeah, I mean, that is probably going to get Trey Mann into the starting lineup. I don't mind him as a point guard or I guess he's point guard only on DK, which is unfortunate. I'd rather probably play him in shooting guard. But yeah, I mean, not as popular as I thought he might be. Pretty good matchup. Might not be the most competitive game here. But how are you feeling about Trey Mann in his new home? He should finally get some minutes here now that he's out of OKC, right?
yeah, man, he had a very nice performance his first game in Charlotte. Did get a slight price bump, 4,600 now. Don't think he's a must play, but according to our model, really high on the DK value, which is always something to note. I don't know if he's like a core play at 4,600, but I like him a lot at that low ownership. So yeah, I like him as a play. Don't love it, don't hate it. How about you?
Yeah, I mean, I feel the same on DK. Like I said, I will be over there a little bit tonight. Usually, I'm a FanDuel guy, and we got 6K for Trey Man over on FanDuel. Not a price I think I'll be paying over there, but another injury situation where I don't know. I wish we had more to get excited about. The main reason we don't is it's a matchup against pretty good Cavs defense. But yeah, we got Philly here. It sounds like Maxi's going to be in. But no Tobias Harris, no Batum, no Covington, obviously no Embiid, no Melton either. So you'd think we could get some value here, but the model doesn't seem to be liking anything yet. I don't know that this data has updated for Harris being out, but it's tough because like they priced up Oubre, they priced up Heald, who were good plays when they were cheaper. I think the one I might be interested in is KJ Martin if he does slide into the starting lineup at 4K on DK, 4,300 on FanDuel. But I mean, I don't know, man. Is there anything from Philly you feel good about right now? I think Maxi's still limited too. I'm not 100% sure on that. We have him for 38 minutes, so maybe not. But bad matchup. But with such a short bench, you'd think there'd be something here to get excited about.
Yeah, right there with you, man. Yeah, tough matchup, and yeah, all these guys are priced correctly. Oubre, even with Harris at 6,400, like I don't love it. I think he's
Yeah.
probably good for 30 to 35 DraftKings points. Somewhere on FanDuel. I don't know. I kind of agree. I think Martin point per dollar probably my favorite. I don't know. I think on the slate we're probably going to need more than 30 to 35 out of him.
Yeah, and like I don't even like I wouldn't even highlight this situation if we had more value in some of these other spots. But as things stand, we're really scraping forward. I mean, Cleveland's healthy. I'm just going through the teams here, pretty much. I guess Chicago's another spot I really like tonight, and it's not really because there's any new injury news, but we're still without Levine, who's going to be out for the season. Patrick Williams is still out. Obviously, he takes up a ton of minutes. Caruso's questionable. I'm guessing he plays, but I think either way, when we're getting Chicago paced up here in a game against Atlanta with a surprisingly narrow spread, only 3.5 points on the road in Atlanta. Yeah, man, one of the highest total games on the slate. I think Chicago is definitely a spot we're going to have to be looking.
Yeah, I love this spot for. I call them the big three now. Obviously Levine was the big three, but Kobe White, DeRozan, Vooch. I love all these guys, man. Especially like guards against Atlanta. I think Kobe White's in a really, really good spot here. So
Yeah, I totally agree. I like the price too. I don't know. I'm just going through quick to see if there's any major injury news. Then we could just get into the position by position. I think that's probably going to be the way to go on this slate. Giannis probable. Middleton's still out for Milwaukee. Nothing major there. We kind of know what the deal is. Zion's questionable. He's questionable every day. Memphis is a mess, but I don't know. We can talk about that when we get to the position by position, but I don't think there's any super huge news pending. I guess Sengun's questionable, so maybe we talk about Houston real quick here because if he's out, do we get Jeff Green at center again?
yeah, unfortunately, I feel like we kind of have to. I still don't love him as fancy producer, but he has been better, which is kind of crazy to say. He's been better recently. I think maybe playing at the five,
Mhm.
maybe that helps his stats. But yeah, definitely got to consider him if Singun's out.
Yeah, I totally agree. If Sengun's out, I'm gonna definitely be fine getting there. And I mean, the thing about Jeff Green, he's definitely past his prime, but he still takes a lot of shots usually when he's on the floor. And no, Fred Van Fleet is creating extra usage there as well. Not new news that Van Fleet's out, but that is creating more opportunity for some of these other guys. They did lose Cam Whitmore, I think, last game of the game before it as well. So not a great matchup again here with them facing the Knicks, but I do think Houston's probably a spot to look. But yeah, let's get into the position by position. Just gonna check out comments real quick. So yeah, we'll get back to players between 35 and 4K. I mean, how's this shout out for you, Mitchik? Any interest there? And I mean, I don't think that I can get there necessarily. Has he been getting more run with Trey Mann gone? Because Mann wasn't even getting minutes, so I don't know that.
Yeah, I don't.
Surprised the model's liking him. I did see he was popping kind of high.
Yeah, I don't know. I think he's fine. And he's another guy that like probably pretty shooting reliant. I don't know. I think he's fine. I don't know if I'd go crazy with it, but if you want to get a couple of shares of him, I think that's probably the route I would go.
Yeah, I'm trying to pull him up. He's not even on OK.
Charlotte,
Who am I
right?
thinking of? Yeah, I guess I'm either getting him mixed up or no. He was traded as part of that deal. Yeah, he was part of that deal. He's coming off a huge game. So 2 for 6 from two, 2 for 3 from three, 9 assists. He was outstanding.
I love him.
So yeah, maybe in lineups where you're not going to train one, maybe that's your pivot. But yeah, I mean, you're definitely playing with fire with these guys. We don't know how these rotations are going to settle. They're all kind of shooting guards, but Mitchik, I mean, 9 assists. It's got to be a team high for like the past few weeks. So I could see maybe getting there, but let's use that to get into guards because he is a guard. He is cheap. Select point guard, shooting guard on DK and FanDuel. Just make sure we get everyone here. So yeah, first sorting by OF index, and again, it's tough to pay all the way up, but we got Luca up there actually drawing 20% ownership over on DK. Kyrie, pretty popular on both sites, obviously right there alongside Luca, but they're playing Washington, so I do get it. Trey Young very low owned, Maxey, Mitchell, Lillard all low owned, Brunson, Murray, etc. These aren't bad plays, but I think again it's just a product of the slate. We're really lacking value. Sorting by ownership, the Bulls guys we brought up are up there. Keontae George coming off the bench for the Jazz has been seeing more minutes. He's another guy I think maybe we get to. But yeah, I guess do you find yourself kind of paying down mid range, or are there any guards just in general that you're really probably going to have to prioritize tonight?
Yeah, man. So there's really two of them that stick out to me if you're getting up tall. You mentioned them, Luca and Kyrie here. Just a
Mhm.
smash spot against Washington. It's always kind of tough to decipher them. Obviously, Luca, huge ceiling, but I really like Kyrie's price tag at 8.8K. So I like both those guys. And then, yeah, in the mid tier, guys like Kobe White, really like as well. Yeah. How about you, though?
Yeah, I'm kind of in the same boat. I don't mind getting into some manual quickly. I do like the matchup for Toronto here against the Spurs. Spurs have actually been playing close to most teams, and it's not like Toronto's one of these front runners where we have to worry about a blowout too much. So you're getting a soft defense, but actually a competitive game there. So quickly is a play I'll definitely consider. Um, I mean, Kobe White, you already mentioned, probably my favorite on the board. Again, just love the matchup with Atlanta. Um, Whether Caruso's in or not, he's going to play a ton of minutes here. He is very popular, though. So if you're looking for something lower owned, it gets a little bit trickier. I don't mind Trey Man over on DK. Not going to be all that aggressive in getting to him. But yeah, I mean, like sorting by value, it's tough. I will say that the Jazz situation definitely intrigues me. You're playing a little bit of like roulette there, like trying to nail down which guard is actually going to have the big night. But they did get rid of Agbaji and Olynyk, so that has opened up more minutes for Keontae George off the bench. He played 30 last game, 26 the game before, 24 the game prior. Pretty much hit value at his DK price in all three of those spots. So I don't mind maybe getting to Keontae George. I understand he is getting to be pretty popular on DK at this point, but I don't know. Chris Dunn's owned similarly, and I definitely feel like even though Dunn starts, I trust George more than Dunn. Maybe that's an error on my end, but how do you feel about this situation for Utah? Because I do think it's a good spot to target. 240 total. Warriors defense is taking a step back. 1 point spread at home in Utah. So, uh, yeah, how are you feeling about those guys over there? I mean, Sexton obviously included.
Yeah, these rotations, man, are just so volatile. Yeah, you mentioned it though, like Ochai being shipped out, Olynyk on. I think guys like Keontae George and Kessler should benefit here. So I know we're in guards. I was just flashing to
Yeah, yeah,
Kessler.
yeah. Yeah.
But I prefer George the most between him and Dunn. I just feel like Dunn, he starts, he doesn't close that much. So I think George most likely closes. So I like George a lot here. Prefer him to Dunn. He is chalky, but I think he's way too cheap, man. 4,200 seems too cheap for George.
Yeah, I totally agree. And one guy I do want to bring up, if you're getting to those Dallas guys and you're paying way up, I think in a perfect world that game's staying close. Tyus Jones has been playing outstanding basketball lately. I think a lot of teams tried to trade for him at the deadline. He didn't get moved, but sub 6K on DK, sub 7 on FanDuel, somewhat popular, but coming off, I mean, a bunch of good games in a row, man. I mean, he's been consistently hitting value, and I think if you are getting to Dallas, maybe paying down for something like Jones to make things fit a little bit easier might be a good run back. Um, but yeah, I was hoping you'd be a little lower on than 20%. Not gonna lie. I mean, Devin Vassell getting a ton of love. I get it. But yeah, are there any mid range guys jumping out to you? Because like I find myself definitely getting into some of Utah. I really do like Kobe White, Emmanuel quickly. I'll add Jones's brother, who Jose informed me was Tyus' brother, Trey Jones here, coming off two bad games, but the minutes have been there for him, so I'm totally fine going back to him. Um, I think usually he would be chalk in a spot like this, but I think people are looking at those game logs. Still somewhat popular, 7% on DK, 28 on FanDuel. But yeah, just didn't really take any shots the last couple of games. I think we see that change here. Um,
Yeah.
But
There's one more guy that I really liked in tournaments. It's actually on the Atlanta side, DeJounte Murray.
mm,
Coming off a really, really good game. 6% ownership against Chicago. I think he's a pretty good tournament play as well. So I love DeJounte here in tournaments. And then I think Klay Thompson. I know he's been pretty bad, but 5,200 in a really good game environment. Maybe you could twist my arm and get some Klay Thompson. Um, yeah, those are kind of the guys I was kind of looking at in the mid tier.
yeah, they're like begging you to pay him or play him at that price. And it's funny, he did come out today and say like he doesn't want to leave the Warriors. He knows that he's old and like he's comfortable playing a smaller roles. So maybe this gives Curry even more reason not to close with him. Like he hasn't been getting to 30 minutes. So I'm a little afraid to go there, but I will say pods off the bench. I mean, I'm still fine going to pods even coming off the bench in tournaments. We did see Unicorn Love shouting out Jordan Poole here in the chat. And I mean, I'd rather go to Jones than Poole personally. I know Poole has the higher ceiling. He's had a couple big games, I think, over the past few days, but super inconsistent. Just a guy I'm never comfortable trusting. And well, I do like the game environment. I don't know, man. Jones or Poole for you?
I'd never played Jordan Poole. I mean, after preseason, I stopped playing him. So I'm going Jones.
Okay, I'm with you on that. But yeah, it is tough at guard today. And I'll say this: I mean, if you're seeing guys are more popular than you think they should be, I think there's a lot of pivots if you're sorting by OF index, sorting by value rating, etc. So don't feel like you have to get locked into the guys that the field are on. I do like George's chalk. I don't mind Vassell, Kobe White. Chris Dunn's probably a little more owned than I want him to be. But yeah, quickly, I don't know. This Memphis situation probably deserves its own few minutes. I don't know if I'm going to get to Vince Williams tonight. I will say this, though. If Zion's out, we're going to want to get to CJ McCollum pretty aggressively. If Sengun's out, we're probably going to want to get to more of Thompson and Green there. But yeah, the Knicks situation, now that they've traded for Bogdanovich and Burks, I think we can maybe pull back a little bit on the DiVincenzo experience, which has been fun. But you have to think that usage comes down a little bit now that this team's getting healthier.
Yeah, I mean, it was a fun run of playing, 7 to 8K Dante DiVincenzo, but yeah, with Burks and Boggy there, I think it's probably time to hop off the train.
Yeah, man, I totally agree. So let me go ahead and move over to forwards. As I do, I'm going to refresh the news feed, just make sure nothing else has come through. But yeah, feel free to get your questions in, everyone. And once again, please like the video, subscribe to the channel. It helps us compete with the YouTube algorithms, gets more views, gets more free content out to you. But yeah, let's see. So refreshing the news, last thing we heard, Alex Caruso is out as of
Ooh,
1 minute ago. So
wow.
this is interesting. So the model's not going to capture this yet. But yeah, I mean, I don't even need to click over. I think it's pretty obvious. We're going to want to get to even more Kobe White now. He's going to look outstanding, already chalk. I think he's an excellent, excellent play. But this really does secure minutes for Ayo Donsumu now as well. It should also help his usage. He was already projected to start here, played 39 minutes 2 nights ago, so we know they're willing to give him the run. Hasn't been shooting all that well, but I think with the extra usage here, sub 6K on both sides, and Sumu is going to join Kobe White as a core play for me, certainly, especially on a slate where we weren't loving too many cheap guards.
Yeah, man, it just looks like we're gonna jam even more bulls now. You mentioned that White and Sumu probably the two biggest beneficiaries here.
Mhm.
With Patrick Williams is out too, so yeah, I feel like both these guys are gonna have to play near 40 minutes tonight. So yeah, I love both of those guards.
Yep, and let's use that to transition to forwards here. Probably my favorite now. I mean, we already liked him. Was going to be DeRozan. Again, he can be scoring dependent at times, but in a matchup like this with a super high total, where they're playing transition basketball, I really like him. Going to take a ton of shots, and yeah, the model already liked him before the Caruso news, so I don't see why we wouldn't be getting to him there. Another interesting play popping towards the top of the model, Denny Avila. Not entirely surprised at the price, especially sub 6K over on DK. Coming off 2 games where he was pushing 50 fantasy points, I don't know that that's something we could bank on moving forward, but I think with Gafford out of the picture, he's doing more under the rim in a weird way. 13 rebounds last game, 11 the game prior. So Denny, not the biggest dude on the floor, but he's really crashing the boards, man. So I'm definitely happy to get there. But yeah, how are you feeling about the chalk here? It looks like it's Denny, DeRozan, maybe Draymond, Zion if he's in.
Yeah, man, I actually really like the chalk here forward. With Denny, you mentioned it like Gafford. He just with him being out of there, it just increases rebounding opportunity for Denny here. And then he's playing a ton of minutes as well because they lost a lot of forwards, and they don't really want to play Eugene Omoyuri 40 minutes a night. So Advia, stepping up for that. And then, yeah, you mentioned DeMar, just a smash block here against Atlanta, up tempo game here. And then Draymond at 5.9K, like, just think it's too cheap for Draymond, and a
Yeah.
really good spot. So those three I love and on both sides.
Yeah, and I think that's good chalk. I mean, if we're looking for pivots, Kaminga's a little bit lower owned if you can find the salary for him. Obviously, does more on the offensive end, but again, you're paying that premium. I really like RJ Barrett. I think he's one of the safer floor plays at forward. He's really shown a solid usage rate with Toronto since he was traded over there. Obviously, Ingram of Zion's out is going to be a good play. I'm just kind of looking through here. Kelly Olynyk getting some love for Toronto. I'm trying to see how many minutes he played last game. That one's a little bit surprising to me, but. Let's see here. Yeah, he played 22 minutes at 30 fantasy points. I mean, 4,900. I don't know. I mean, if he was cheaper, I think I'd get it, but that still seems a little bit aggressive. Um,
I agree.
I like John Collins. He's been pretty consistent. How do you feel about Wemby here? Like, Paul promised us we'd start to see 30 minutes a night moving forward. I don't think he's played 30 minutes in over a week or since the 31st. Yeah, so broken promises from Pop. What else is new? But I mean, decent spot here against a pretty okay front court defense in Toronto. Can you see yourself getting a Wemby at 8,900?
Yeah, so I played him, I believe, like 3 slates ago, and he just tilted me because I think he played, like, 20 minutes of
Yeah, I
the
remember that.
lowest fantasy game of all season, man. But, yeah, so against Toronto, I don't love the spot here. I'll probably get around the field 10 to 15% probably. I think he's fine. I'm probably just gonna play him as, like, a normal play. He's just priced right, at least in my opinion.
Yeah, no, I feel you. So let me kind of follow up with so are there any pay ups at forward you like tonight? I mean, we have Giannis here against Denver, so not a great matchup, but at the same time, no Middleton should probably boost his usage a little bit. And the thing that's intriguing me is the ownership. I mean, sub 5% on both sites. I think I'm going to have to force a little bit in. I
Yeah.
don't love the matchup, but whenever you get one of these guys that are like the top 5, 10 players in the NBA, sub 5%, you have to kind of find a way to play him. But I mean, what are your thoughts on Giannis? And are there any other pickups at forward that you see yourself getting to?
Yeah, I love that Giannis call. Should be really underowned, and particularly like against Jokic. Gotta imagine he's gonna wake up for this game. So love that call. And then I he's not really a spend up, but Scotty Barnes 8,500 against San Antonio. Really like here. Just saw we just saw Wagner and Banchero have a huge game. I think Scotty could probably duplicate that tonight. So I love Scotty. And then I also really like Brandon Ingram here, especially if Zion sits 9% ownership. He's been very, very consistent recently, so I do like BI a lot.
Nice, man. Yeah, I don't think I could argue with any of that. All makes perfect sense. I'll throw Laurie into the mix against Golden State. Again, super high total game there. Oubre is going to look a little bit better now that Tobias is out. I still haven't refreshed the data, but I'm certain he's going to climb in the model. But yeah, let me see if we get any questions here before I get too far ahead. So we got Carusa out. Um, do we like Ricky Council for Philly? I mean, they are thin. He's probably going to play minutes. Played 29 last game, but I don't know, 4K on DK, 5,100 on FanDuel, and he looked for one Ricky Council who was shooting guard only.
I'm just gonna say no. Probably
Yeah,
not me. I just think we have so many good guard plays today. I
yeah.
probably will get that cute at guard.
No, I feel you, man. And I do think he gets run here, so it's not the craziest play if you're playing 150 lineups, but it's not like he's min price anymore, so you actually do need him to produce. Campaign, kind of similar situation, but those guys are both guards. We do have a question about a forward here. Taylor Horton Tucker for Utah. With some of these guys out of the picture, um, I don't know. Is he a guy who maybe sees more consistent minutes? I think he only played 13 last game because they were waiting for the trade pieces to kind of move around. But the more I think about it, they didn't really bring anyone in. I mean, they brought in Yurt 7, or no, they've had Yurt 7. They brought in Otto Porter, but like he's not going to see anything. Horton Tucker, how many minutes would you give him?
Oh, what's the model having here? Let's check it out real quick.
15.
15. Yeah, I'd probably project somewhere around there, 10 to 15. I don't know. I just don't think it's enough to really. I mean, he's a good fantasy producer. I just don't know if that's enough minutes to really consider him.
Yeah, I tend to agree. I don't know. I'd rather just find the extra few hundred for Keontae George if you're in that range and trying to get to Utah. But I do understand it's kind of different positions. Uh, Let me pull up the questions. I haven't been pulling them up. But yeah, Geek Hippie here. Vucevic, is he a play? I will use that to transition to center here. I'm going to actually refresh the model because it's been a while. But yeah, we always talk about Vooch, and it's pretty easy to read when he's going to be a good player or not. Against huge centers that are really good on defense, he struggles. Against smaller front courts, he usually does a better job. I think tonight he's in a pretty good spot. Okongwu's been playing well, but he's undersized. He's not going to be that big here. I think Vooch should be perfectly fine. Obviously, paced up matchup for Chicago, missing a few pieces. Yeah, I think I really like Vooch, but how do you feel about him? And I guess we'll use that to talk about other centers too, if you want to transition in.
Yeah. Just one more call. He's kind of a center as well. Kind of on the note. Miles Bridges, 8,700. Kind of forgot about him. I think he should be a very good low and spend up as
Mm,
well. I was all over him last game. He came at like 2%, dropped to 47 burger on DraftKings. I don't expect him to be. He had a really bad game in the first half as well. So I do like him a lot in tournaments. And then, yeah, moving to center, I do like Vucevic a lot, like you mentioned. All three of these bull studs in a really good spot here. Vucevic, I like. And then the model loves Miles Turner. I think he's a decent play. I don't know if I'll have a ton, but I definitely want to be overweight to Turner here in this spot.
yeah, Turner's been interesting. I mean, the minutes are just consistent again. Rick Carlisle is obnoxious as far as playing DFS goes, but I mean, if we knew he was getting 30 plus, he'd be one of the best center plays on the slate for sure.
Yeah.
I'm curious what we have him at. I have the wrong DK slate locked here too.
We have him at 29.
29.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, if he's going to play 29, I feel pretty good about him. Definitely in this matchup. I mean, even on FanDuel at 7K, I think he's pretty solid. I will say he's a little bit riskier than some of the other options we have in that range. I love Vooch. Now, the more I think about it, he might be one of my favorite centers. The chalk tonight is going to be Walker Kessler. Again, Olynyk out of the picture there. In Utah, his minutes are more secure now. Most of that bench is guards and wings, so yeah, I think we're going to see Walker Kessler continue to play. I don't know, 25 plus. We have him for 26 here. I could definitely see him going over that. Played 27 last time out. But yeah, how do you feel about Chalk Walker Kessler? Because the ownership is getting a little bit inflated, I guess. 32% on DK, where you can play two centers, is actually pretty heavy.
Yeah. I get he's chalk, but I mean, the price disparity on FanDuel DraftKings is like 13 or not 13K, 1,300. So I think, I think it's a pretty good price for him here. He's not a huge scorer, gets more peripherals, rebounds, and assists. So I think, and blocks. So I think Kessler is a pretty safe chalk. I shouldn't say safe because it's still Utah, but in terms of centers, I think he's a pretty solid player. 5K flat. So I'm gonna probably have a ton of Kessler.
Yeah, I like the Kessler call for sure. I mean, I do wish he was lower on. Kind of is what it is, though. Um, yeah, so I mean, center looks okay tonight. I mean, do you think you'll get up to Jokic much?
Um, if I was building 150, it's kind of the same thing with Giannis. Probably get a couple lineups with Jokic, but definitely not a priority on the slate with all these good centers.
Yeah, and Jokic has been playing better lately. I mean, he went through a little bit of a funk where Murray was really taking up all of his usage, but seems like things have kind of regressed back to the mean. I don't mind getting to him. I think if I'm playing only one of him or Giannis, it would still be Giannis though, just because with Middleton out, I do like the extra usage there. Tough matchup on both sides of that one though, but yeah, I do love Vooch. We've already talked about him a bunch. Other guys that are kind of jumping out, Okongwu again in that Chicago game. He is priced up a bit, but no one's playing him anymore. So yeah, at 1% owned, I don't mind paying 6,600 for a Kongo. I know he's kind of been boomer bust, but this is another spot where I think he should thrive. John Collins again, just solid floor play. Center's kind of tricky. What happened to Marvin Bagley last game? Do you know? Did he get hurt? Because he was
Yeah.
chalk. He started at center, did okay, and then he disappeared.
Yeah, so I think Washington, I don't know if it was either Denny playing good. I wasn't watching the game, but yeah, they pretty much just said, screw you, Bagley. We're just gonna bench you. I had a ton of Paul Reed that night as well. So they
Mm,
didn't play Paul Reed because they didn't play Bagley. So they both played like below 20 minutes, which is very tilting. Who is Washington playing? Let's see, Dallas. My
Dallas.
worry would be they might run small again. I mean they have well,
Gafford.
yeah, they have Gafford, so they probably run big actually. But I don't know. I think it's probably a little bit of a fluke game. I still like him in tournaments at 5,300. So how about you?
Yeah, I don't mind him. I don't know. I definitely still have that sour taste in my mouth from the other day, but he is still priced the same. Not nearly as popular as he was, and he was around 50% in a similar situation. So, if you think the coach maybe trust him this time around, I think you could leave him in. And even if Dallas goes small, I mean, Bagley came into the league as kind of a stretch forward, so I don't mind him. And just kind of hope that he stays on the floor. But again, I mean, if he comes out at the half, it's just super frustrating. I didn't know if he got hurt. If anyone in chat knows, feel free to chime in. But yeah, Unicorn loves saying they played small ball, so I think you guys are aligned on that. That's probably what happened. But yeah, man, I mean, for a big slate center, kind of similar to some of the other positions, I mean, not as deep as maybe we see on other slates. Like, there's good plays, but they're all kind of priced where they should be. I mean, there's nothing that jumps out as like, I don't know, a huge stand I want to take. I will say, if Vooch doesn't get over 20% on DK, probably my favorite play there. Even at 8,500 on FanDuel, I really do like the matchup for him. Definitely comfortable going there. And I think we still had Isaiah Hartenstein questionable. If he's out, I mean, Precious Achua has just been playing 40 plus minutes per night. Probably a situation we're going to have to go back to him. I think he has forward eligibility as well. Um, but yeah, trying to see if we got Hartenstein news yet, because that would be big.
Yeah, I agree. And like for some reason, lot or the last slate, Precious was in and Hardenstein was out. Precious was nuking and then to nothing in the second half. So I think he's still a really good play if Hardenstein's out. But if Hardenstein's in, I probably don't have any interest in Precious.
Yeah, no, I tend to agree. I'm just trying to see here. Yeah, he's still listed as questionable, so maybe that one opens up. But for now, yeah, definitely going to be a lot of Vooch, a lot of Kessler.
Yeah.
Um, those are probably the top two for us. But yeah, let me see if we got any other questions that we could go ahead and get a build in. It looks like Sengun is in. How do you feel about Sengun? I mean, I'm a little bit concerned about the minutes first game back because his minutes have been all over the place in general. Like, I
Yeah.
don't get what they're doing down there.
I was talking to my brother about this. I don't understand, like, he's their best player, right? Why is he not playing 30 plus minutes every night? He's not Wimby. He doesn't need to, like, he's not going to get hurt most likely. Like, he's not 7'2". So like, I don't know. It's kind of crazy to me. There's one other guy I did want to note here. Jacob Pertl,
Mm,
6,300 against San Antonio.
revenge.
Yeah, revenge narrative, and like he's been bowling, man. He's been very, very good. So I do like him a ton in tournaments at the ownership.
No, that's a great shout. I meant to mention him, but good on you for calling that one out. Because yeah, the other night I was on a show and I was heavy on Podol. I was pumping him the whole show, and then we got word that Olynyk was active, and I kind of pulled
Yeah,
back my ownership, and he still went off. It didn't matter at all. So yeah, I really do like Podol here. Good shout on that. I'm glad you mentioned that. I want folks to be able to get on that. But yeah, let's jump over here. Gonna pull up a DraftKings window.
yeah.
We could
We can
talk
do
through.
FanDuel bill too. I think we got time, so
Yeah, if we got time, I'm always happy to do that. Let me
I know,
keep
I know
that
you're a
up.
big FanDuel guy. I want to get
Yeah,
equal
man.
equal on both sides.
I know, and it is good to play both sites
Yeah,
if you can swing it. I know you have Discord duty tonight, though, right? Though you're on
yeah.
double duty, so I don't want to keep you too late, but
That's
I'll pull it up now.
Speaking of FanDuel, did you bet on the Gronkowski field goal?
Yeah, I said yes like an idiot
Did
because he
you make
missed the
it?
last game.
Yeah.
And the second I did, I was like, "Ugh," it was probably more contrarian to say no, and like you should have just
Yeah.
taken the contrarian side. But did you get it right? I think I heard $25 in bonus bets. It
Yeah, it was
was
25 bucks. I chose no. I was like Gronkowski kicking a field goal. I didn't even care how far it was. I just said no.
well, he did it last year, and he like
Yeah.
barely missed it. So I was like, "There's no way he's gonna embarrass himself again, is there?"
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean that was fun. I was pissed. FanDuel usually has bingo, and like it's free, and like they have a full card, and like as things happen throughout the game, you can kind of pluck those. But they got rid of it this year, which was unfortunate. But yeah, still made enough money on the Chiefs that I'm not complaining.
Yeah.
But yeah, who do we go first to here? I mean, I don't know. We got to go some Bulls, I think, right?
Yeah. Kobe White, maybe? Kobe
Yeah.
White, AO,
Let's go
definitely.
EAO and screw it. Let's go to Rosen too. Let's get
Yep.
all.
I love that.
I mean, honestly, as much as I like Vooch too, I mean, we could go heavy on this game, but I don't know. I think first build maybe we pump the brakes slightly. We need some
Yeah.
value now.
Yeah, let's go value. Do we like Keontae George here?
hmm
4,200?
I was just gonna
Yeah, let's do that.
Keontae George. I mean, while we're in this game, I mean, the value center is Kessler, so
Yeah.
maybe if we don't want four Bulls,
I like
We got
that.
Kessler there. I think that makes sense. So we're left with 6,700 per, which isn't bad at all.
I think that's a really good core just right there. I feel like that's probably the core I'd be building around the most tonight.
Yeah, I tend to agree. And then, yeah, I mean, now is where we'd probably start to get a little bit weird.
Yeah.
Um, one guy I didn't bring up that I really do like is a run back, Sadiq Bey. He's been
Okay.
playing outstanding basketball, seeing enough usage in that front court with no Capella that I think he's seeing a boost next to Congo in a weird way. I'd have to quantify this, but if you're playing 3 or 4 Bulls, it does make sense to maybe run it back with some Atlanta. And if you can't afford Trey or even DeJounte, I think Bey makes a ton of sense. So I'll
Yeah.
drop him
I like
in.
that call.
I'll let you pluck the next forward here. We got 71 per with utility left, so we'll have some flexibility.
I'm gonna go a guy that I feel like is owned but not owned enough. He's like my favorite forward tonight. I'm gonna go Scotty Barnes here. Coming off 2 pretty big games, I think this is the nut spot for him. So I'm gonna say Scotty here.
I like it. I thought you were going to say Bridges, who's probably similar.
Oh
But
yeah,
yeah,
I
I
like
like the
it
Barnes
too.
call. I mean, they
I
both
like.
make a lot of sense. 5,700 left. What does that land us? It's not a bad range.
Is there
We got
anyone?
we got Washington. Oh, I mean, my boy Trey Jones for the
Here you
Spurs.
go, Trey
The run
Jones.
back with Barnes. We get the guards
There
against
you
each other.
go. You get a great
Beautiful.
environment. That's perfect. We love that.
Nice. We get some nice correlation there. Let me slide this FanDuel window over. Cool. That's great production. That's what we call that. Okay, so excuse me, similar situation on FanDuel. And guys, get your questions in. We will address them before we wrap up for the day. But I think we'd still go Kobe White.
Yep.
Let's go Vooch this time at
Yep.
8,500. Center's pretty thin. Um, and who should we go? DeRozan or Ao or both or
What's Ao's price on FanDuel?
58? It's not bad.
That's not that bad. I like that. Let's
All
go.
right.
Let's go AO. Let's leave Draws out of this one.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Um, all right. So we need a cheap point guard. There's not much.
Is Ty's priced up on FanDuel? What's his price?
Oh, he's actually 50.
Too cheap.
Tyus 69.
Oh no, that's too. That's I thought he was gonna be cheaper, man.
Yeah, I mean, you get extra points for blocks and steals. I think that's why. But
Yeah,
let's see. I mean, Keontae's 54. That's not even that cheap.
yeah.
Yeah, the more I think about it, Misic over on DK is a good value play. I mean, I'm looking at this FanDuel price, 5,200. Don't want to play him here, but on
Yeah,
DK, I don't mind that if you guys are still getting to him. I don't know. We could pay down somewhere else, maybe. I'm really not loving
yeah.
the
Let's
value.
build the rest of our bill here and see what we land on. That's what I feel like we should do. Um,
I'm with you. Um, let's
Anyone
see.
else you really like on FanDuel?
Let me pop back over here. Refresh my memory. Um, let's see. Denny. I do like Denny. He's priced up a little bit here compared to
Forgot
his.
about Danny for DraftKings. Yeah, I like him on DraftKings too. I
Yeah,
think. Right.
draft made a lot of sense. Honestly, here's one. It's kind of gross, but we need value. I'm gonna go Jay Crowder
Good.
with Middleton now. Still sub 5K. Don't love the price at 46, but I think he's one of the safer value options in quotation marks. It's Jay Crowder. He's not safe, but okay. We're now up to 67 per. We're getting there.
Yeah.
Do you want to give Bagley another shot?
What's his price? What is he?
6K flat at
Ooh.
forward.
Yeah, I mean he's not awful. There's
Sure.
one thing. One to note too is someone mentioned where is it? KJ Martin starting for Philadelphia. I don't know if he's been,
Ooh.
but
Yeah,
last time he came out,
bias is out. That's a good value play. Honestly, I don't mind sticking with the field on that one. Good
and
shout.
and we got Scottie Pippen 3 minutes ago. We'll start for Memphis. I don't know what his price is either.
They priced him up, but I don't know that they did enough.
He's a pretty good fantasy producer. So
Yeah, he's been really good. 6,100.
oh
Don't
man,
mind that.
price we
It's a
can't
little
catch.
chunky. It's a little chunky. I mean, if we're in that range, we're looking at Trey Mann, Trey Jones, Jordan Clarkson, Sexton. I mean, 700 more for Sexton probably is the play, but
Yeah, probably.
let's just see. Make sure the minutes have been there. Yeah, I'll go Sexton. Get something from that late game to cheer for. And then 74 per. We still got a decent amount left.
Yeah,
Uh, Ingram, and then just kind of hope that Zion's out.
I like that. I like him either way too. He's a pretty good play even if Zion's in.
Yeah, he's been playing good basketball. Small forward. If we go DeRozan anyway, what does that leave us? I mean, I don't know. We're looking at Jordan Poole. Probably not.
Not with Denny, I don't think. Do we have Denny in there? Should
No,
we
we don't have Denny. Let's go Denny.
for Denny?
Let me
Yeah.
take out DeRozan. Go Denny. I mean, Oubre is going to be popular. I don't mind him, but I don't think we need to go there. Quickly, I really like.
Oh yeah, I like that.
There we go. It's a pretty good build.
Yeah. No Scotty in this build, so quickly makes sense for sure.
All right. A few questions here. Let's get through them quick. Once again, guys, thanks for tuning in. Like the video. Check the links in the description below. We have Jayhawk here in Discord tonight talking right up until lock, taking your one-on-one questions as well. Let's see. Okay, Sengun's in. KJ Martin starting for Philly. Glenn asked if we're staying away from Philly. I mean, I like Martin. I'm fine going there. I do think Oubre and Hield are viable. We're probably over-owned. A little bit concerned about Maxi's form. I don't know. Do you have any hot takes on Philly? I do think Martin's probably okay chalk just because we don't have anything better.
Yeah, I like Martin. He's probably my favorite by pretty decent margin here from Philly. It's just like on this slate with Oubre, I think I'd just rather get to other spend up forwards than these guys in the mid two.
Yeah, I don't like the matchup very much. Thoughts on Drummond on FanDuel? That's interesting. I mean, I don't know. He's boomer bust. I think in tournaments you could get there. He is upside. Not the type of matchup he's going to get extended run in. But I mean, he's shown he can hit a ceiling even a few minutes. But I don't know. It'd take me a lot of lineups to get there. How about you, Andrew?
Yeah, I typically like to play him in bigger matchups, and then also when he starts. And I don't think we're going to either one of those tonight. So probably not for me.
Okay, and then we got Garland 6,500 on FanDuel. So he was kind of slow working back from the injury. I think the cap's been off him for a few games now, right? So 6,400 for Garland. Still not playing 30 minutes a game. He's getting there though. He's okay for the price. I don't love it, but how do you feel about Darius Garland here?
Yeah, just another one of these guys. Like, if you get to land on him, I think he's fine. Just really tough to prioritize him. We have so many good plays now. I feel like on this slate, so he's fine. I don't love it. Don't hit it.
Yeah, and I'm just refreshing the model. We did get a question about FanDuel values. I just want to make sure the data was updated. I saw in between there, someone asked about Jose Alvarado. So normally not a player I'm all that interested in, but Dyson Daniels did tear his meniscus. He's going to be out for a while. That should create maybe a little bit more opportunity for Alvarado. I'll say this: if Zion's out, I like him more. I think right now you could use him as a punt, but just keep your expectations low. Don't let your whole night rest on this kid, but he has some upside for his price.
Yeah, no, for sure. And then one more, two quick pieces of the news. We did get Derrick Rose rolled out and Zaire Williams rolled out for Memphis. So Scotty at
Yeah,
4K. It's gonna be tough to avoid on DraftKings at least. FanDuel, he's priced up.
4K for Scottie Pippen on Memphis looks outstanding now. Williams, reasonably priced. I don't think you have to force him. Same with Jackson. It's not a great matchup, but if this game stays competitive, it's these two, Aldama, Conchar, Pippen. That group, the starters, I think are fine. Kennard's been disappointing lately, which is why Pippen's starting, I imagine. So I like Pippen a lot, especially on DK. FanDuel price is a little bit chunky, as I described it before, but I think you can go there too. Aldama looks fine. He's getting some love on FanDuel, but yeah. And then last question was just FanDuel values. So let me just sort by FanDuel value for you. And again, data is going to continue to update as this news breaks. GG Jackson out too. That makes me feel even better about Aldama, I will say.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is pretty interesting. Ubre's popping as the top value play. I mean, he's shown a huge ceiling. If that game stays close, you have to think he's involved. I don't mind it. Certainly some risk there, though. Kobe White, we both love. Podol, Martin. If you're looking for like cheap value, you'd probably lower this bar up here where we have the price. Say to 4,800. And Martin's your top guy. Craig should get a lot of run. How do you feel about Torrey Craig? We know the Bulls are thin tonight. It is a great matchup, but not really the best fantasy producer historically. But I don't know. I guess tonight, if there was ever a night to play Torrey Craig.
Yeah, I think he's fine. I just like I feel like now we have so many good like
There's so
solid
many Bulls I want to play. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like we have so many other good Bulls players, and then we have uh, Scotty and all these other cheap guards. I don't know if we really need to get to these cheap forwards, you know?
Mhm. Nope, I agree. I mean, I will shout out Grant Williams coming off the bench for Charlotte. I thought he was like going to demand a trade out of there because he's been on competitors his whole career, but he seems happy there. It's weird. Played really well the other night. Gave a nice post game interview. So I don't mind Grant Williams as a punt that no one's probably going to get to. But yeah, just keep an eye on news, everyone. But yeah, Jayhawk, I'll let you take a breath, maybe get a drink before you have to hop any Discord. But any last words or overall thoughts on the slate?
Nah, man, just really fun slate tonight. Kind of interested to see what the field's gonna do with all this news. But make sure to hop on Discord and come hang out. I'll do my best to break down the slate. So
Awesome. Definitely appreciate it, man. And yeah, take care, everyone. Please like the video, subscribe to the channel. We'll be back tomorrow and all week until the All Star break, which is coming up soon. So get your contest entries in now because we're going to have a few days off this weekend. But yeah, take care, everyone. Have a good one.
see you guys. Good luck.